Predict the World Cup and win $1 million. For the 2022 World Cup, Opta are offering fans around the world a chance to win $1 million. Simply predict where each team will finish in the group stages, along with the winner of each knockout fixture and overall winners to land the prize. Click the link below to play the Opta 1 million game. Subscribe to DR Sports for the inside track on how to win the 1 million. Hi, and welcome along to DR Sports. Just a reminder of that Opta $1 million, right? Special for the World Cup. All you got to do is predict the World Cup and you can win $1 million. All you got to do is you got to predict the group stages, you got to predict the knockout all the way to the final. Get all of those right and you get $1 million. And it's free to enter as well.
I'm entering you.
It's free to enter. Of course, well, what you got to lose?
You ain't got nothing to lose, to be fair.
Nothing to lose and everything to gain.
There's
1 million.
in Liverpool, I might have to get involved if I win this.
Huh?
I might have to get involved in the shares in Liverpool if I win this.
Yeah.
Oh, you're bailing out of Chelsea now, are you?
No, hey.
Click the link in the description to play the Opta 1 million. We're going to be running it right throughout the World Cup, so make sure you get involved in it. Of course, here on DR Sports, we are going to be covering the World Cup in its entirety. We're going to be doing watch-alongs in the studio to every single World Cup game, and we're going to be over there in Qatar as well on the ground, so you do not want to miss it. Trust me on that. We are here today because England are about to announce their squad. Gareth Southgate is going to announce the England squad roughly around 2 o'clock. We've got Abby Summers joining us, and we have Matisse, who didn't get the email that said, wear your England shirt.
I couldn't find it, but I think it's a blessing in disguise because I haven't seen the squad yet. And I don't even know where my allegiances lie. I might want someone else to win it. So,
But you know what? He was on time today, so
He was on time.
Hey,
we
listen,
can't
I'm
have
taking that shirt off you next week because I know that's not yours. Yeah. That's
Just
not Abby's.
because Reece James is out injured, all of a sudden he's had no more interest in the England squad. You've got Raheem Sterling in there.
Yeah, true. I mean,
Right.
we'll see the squad. We'll see. See if Southgate's
Yeah,
cooking or not.
I'm intrigued to see what the squad's going to be. Of course, there's a lot of people who've been wanting to see James Maddison in there. There's a lot of people who want to see Callum Wilson in there. Ivan Toney, will he make it? All will be revealed, well, very, very soon. What's the time now? In 2 minutes' time?
2 minutes time, yeah.
In 2 minutes' time. Quickly, Abby, what's your squad?
hold on, let's run through it. Now, I think I went over the 26-man squad, to be fair.
Did you pick a 55?
I just picked people that I was like, oh, I'd quite like to see you in there,
Yeah.
quite like to see you in there. I went for keepers. I went Pope, Ramsdale, Pickford. Defenders, obviously taking out, James. He's not available, and neither is Chilwell, right?
Yeah, no Chilwell.
So I'd thrown in Stones, Trippier, Tomori, Dunk, Alexander-Arnold, Walker. I'd even put Maguire in there. Ben White, Shaw as well. I mean, I was looking at the options.
Ben White has to go.
I'm not backing Eric Dyer to go because from what I've seen, especially in the last few weeks, I wouldn't necessarily trust him. Connor Cody, that was kind of one that I thought, should he be going? Maybe could lean towards that, as well as Mark Gay as well.
The only difference I had was I took out Maguire, even though he's going anyway, because he's
It
Maguire.
was kind of
I took in Webster.
chew-in.
I put Webster in there.
Did
Brighton.
you?
Yeah, Webster and Dunk.
That's a good
I was like,
shout.
a partnership.
Was a good
And
shout.
Free at the back experience as well.
I mean, look, there's options. Obviously, we know that there's no Reece James, no Chilwell. That is a big loss. So we're
No
kind
Tomori?
no, I did.
Yeah,
I did
Tomori's
put
in there.
Tomori in there. I did. I think he definitely deserves to go. Midfielders, I put Maddison in, Bellingham, Rice, Henderson, Ward-Prowse, Grealish, and Mount. I really like James Ward-Prowse. I think it gives you something different.
Maddison in your...
Yeah, Madison's always been in my thing. I think that he definitely
You
deserves
agree
to
with
go.
that, Maddison?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, 100%. Madison has to
Absolutely.
be. I think Madison should be starting.
Definitely
So
deserves
do
to go. And then forwards, obviously Harry Kane, Foden, Sterling, Saka, Rashford, Wilson, and Abraham. Now, I controversially didn't
not
put
Ivan Toney.
I didn't put Ivan Toney, and I didn't put Jadon Sancho. Was a little bit controversial for me, but I equally wouldn't mind seeing Ivan Toney in there. But again, is he going to go? Is he going to get any minutes? And I think that the ones I've picked, maybe Abraham would get some minutes, but I think that Wilson should definitely also go if we're basing anything on form.
Yeah. I had Tony ahead of Abraham. I think Tony's been brilliant this season. Obviously, he's more of I say Wilson's like your fox in the box, and then Tony's like more of your all-round striker, maybe target man. And I had, Saka, Foden, Sterling, Rashford, Grealish. I think that's quite exciting. If he's bringing Grealish, Foden, and he's got, Maddison in there as well, and Saka, that's a lot of creativity. Should be quite an exciting England team, unless he...
Could be.
Could be. Should be. I don't know what he's going to do with these players, but he should be using them to the fullest extent.
Sky are reporting that Maddison is going to make the squad.
Yeah.
They're also reporting Conor Gallagher is making the squad.
Conor Gallagher. How's he played for Chelsea?
Here we go.
He's been decent. I think on the right-hand side of midfield, he's put in some good crosses. But I don't think he should be in the England squad, if I'm being completely honest.
Squad is out now, guys.
The squad is out?
Squad
All
is
right.
out.
Give us the, you want to do it?
Sure.
Give us the squad.
All right, keepers, Jordan Pickford, Aaron Ramsdale, Nick Pope. Defenders, Kieran Trippier, Alexander-Arnold, Kyle Walker, Ben White, Harry Maguire, John Stones, Eric Dyer, Connor Cody, Luke Shaw. Into midfield, Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, Calvin Phillips, Jordan Henderson, Conor Gallagher and Mason Mount. And forwards, Harry Kane, Callum Wilson, Marcus Rashford, Raheem Sterling, Saka, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish and James Maddison.
Well,
right, that's it.
Well,
immediate reactions.
I mean, there's no Tomori, right?
there's no
Tomori.
Tomori in
That
that
for me
side.
is insane.
I agree.
Serie A winner last year, incredible defender, bench their captain, Champions League pedigree, and he's not in the squad. That is probably for me a shocking decision.
No Gay either.
Yeah, well, I think Gurley's maybe fallen a little bit this season. Last season he was really good next to Anderson. I wouldn't mind the Gurley one, but I think Tomori, when you've got defenders like Mings in there, for me, that's just crazy. Mings has been very, very error-prone. Literally against us, he set Mason Mount for a goal. I'm a little bit surprised Gallagher's in there, but maybe it's defensive. It's a defensive
I'm a big
move.
fan of Conor
Yeah,
Gallagher. I think he had an amazing season last year.
Yeah,
Yeah, but what's he done this year?
Well, it's a fair point. What is it this time? But then if you're going off of that, then so why is someone like Harry Maguire in the side? Why is Calvin Phillips in the side?
Well,
Phillips has not played
Barely a minute.
I don't know how Calvin Phillips is there. You know what I mean? Listen, in the past he's been brilliant. He was the player of the wasn't he? And stuff like that before, player of the tournament. But how does he get in there? He's hardly kicked a ball this year. He's been sort of injured. How does he get in the side? I don't know.
And arguably there's no Tammy Abraham either, as you mentioned with Tomori.
No Tammy Abraham, who scored last night.
And no James Ward-Prowse this time round either.
No Tony.
And no Sancho.
Tony's not in there either, is he?
For me, Sancho doesn't.
think Sancho
He's not
deserves
done
to be in
enough
there.
to get in the squad, right? So I'm not against that one. I don't think Sancho's done enough to get in the squad. I'm pleased that Callum Wilson is in there because I think Callum Wilson's had a great season.
Yeah.
I think if Callum Wilson is fit, he's a better goal scorer than Ivan Toney. I like Ivan Toney. I think he's very unlucky.
Yeah.
I wonder did he miss out a bit because of the whole betting scandal stuff.
Yeah.
That's definitely would have gone against him. But for me, even without that, if you've got to choose one, Callum Wilson.
Would you have gone with Abraham over Tony? I think.
I would have
You
gone,
would have,
I
yeah.
would have gone Abraham over Tony.
Yeah.
That's
Although
why I didn't
Abraham's
pick him.
not had a great season, has he? He's not had a great season.
Is it just because he's giving you something different?
I think they
Channels
kind of
and-
give you something similar that you can kind of use them as a target if you need to. But I just still would have gone with Tammy Abraham.
Not change the squad up too much.
Yeah, I think Ivan Toney is a really good player, but I think that again maybe just he's not really going to feature. I don't believe he would feature too much in that side.
The thing is that is a bit sad, I think, right, is that Ivan Toney didn't even get to play for England. He got called up and we didn't even use him. So we don't know what he would have been like at this level, which I think was very poor by Gareth Southgate. When he called him up that time, he
What's
could
the
have
point of not
easily
using him,
he played Kane again. We
Give
all
him
know
a
what
chance.
Kane can do.
Yeah.
We weren't gonna
give my man a rest.
go through in that Nations League. We weren't gonna win it.
Yeah.
So let's see what Tony's got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I couldn't understand that. It just didn't. You wasted the guy's time in calling him up. That's how it seemed to me. But Callum Wilson, listen, I think if Harry Kane's injured, I think Callum Wilson can definitely come in and do an able job. The only thing is, will he stay fit
That's
for the
another
whole
question.
tournament?
Yeah.
That's the other thing. So I guess they would have checked on his fitness. James Maddison's the big one. I think The whole country wanted him in there.
Deserved, absolutely deserved.
He's only ever
so.
played one England game, I think it is, before this,
Crazy.
right? Which is ridiculous. But he, for me, has been probably the best, apart from De Bruyne, best midfielder in this country. He's been so good. He's really been on fire.
Yeah. Definitely the best English midfielder.
Yeah. He deserved to be in there, and I think we're all happy he's in there. Right?
I'm really happy.
I just hope that he plays. You know, let's not take him now.
He should be. For me, he should be starting.
I think he should be starting as well. Let's not take him now and then he's on the bench and he's not really.
You already
playing
know,
much.
right?
Yeah, you already know what's going to happen.
This is Grealish 2.0.
Yeah.
Remember in the Euros?
Where he couldn't. He's just coming off the bench every now and then.
Yeah. But remember, like in the Euros when it's just like everybody
play
play Grealish, free Grealish. That what I mean, and he sparingly got on
because he's
I
very.
could see this being another one with
similar
He's very
type.
pragmatic or defensive minded because he's maybe trying to protect himself with the lack of maybe tactical nous, and I'm worried that he's just going to fold and go very defensive and leave these creative players on the bench.
Yeah.
So hopefully he doesn't do that.
You surprised Rashford's in there?
Because Sancho's playing poorly, I'm not. I think it was between them two. Saka's obviously going. Foden's going. These are, Grealish is going. Grealish was great last night against Chelsea in the Cup. So it was between Rashford and Sancho, and I think it's clear who's playing better for Man United right now.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Listen, obviously Harry Kane, Grealish, Foden, they all picked themselves. Even though Grealish, and Saka as well has been brilliant for England. So those are no surprises.
No Jesse Lingard.
Man only turned up last night.
He turned up last night.
Did he?
We won't mention that.
We'll move on. We'll move on from last night.
Also, though, let's look at the midfield. Jude Bellingham speaks for it. I think he's going to be our star player in the tournament. Conor Gallagher. That's a surprise to
I
me.
think there are a few surprise picks. For me,
how's he getting there? He barely plays for Chelsea.
But I think
He's
there's
not really
some
pulled up any
surprises
trees this
though.
season. One goal against Palace.
Because why would you also take Calvin Phillips? So if you're looking at Conor Gallagher, it's a bit of an odd one. But then why are you taking a player that hasn't even barely played more than 10 minutes this season? There's a lot of question marks.
Let me ask you, Matisse. He plays for your club. But you see him more than what we see him, right?
Yeah.
Listen, last year for Palace, brilliant.
Yeah.
But it's not really. What's he done this year to warrant him getting in
outside of the, I'd say the two games that stood out was him coming off the bench against Palace and getting the winner, top corner, but that was a moment. And then Wolves, he had a really good game at home. But if you're talking about in general, I think he's been just decent at best, and that's being kind. I think for me, if you're talking about someone he's gonna maybe give a bit of balance to the midfield off the ball, press, give you the energy. If you're winning a game 10 minutes to go and you need someone to come on and make an impact, he's pretty good as an impact sub to come and do that.
So is Ward-Prowse, though. Ward-Prowse is the
I think
type of guy.
Ward-Prowse maybe a different type of player. Like he's maybe there for the set pieces, but I would take Ward-Prowse over Gallagher.
100%.
Ward-Prowse can come on, right?
Yeah.
I remember when Arsenal played Southampton, his corners, literally everyone was unbelievable.
I would have taken him.
In swinging corners, free kicks, any sort of set piece type thing. I just look at it and I think, to have a player like that on the bench,
big weapon.
I think is a better weapon than having somebody
who's a similar type to
like
what you've
a
already
Gallagher.
got.
I would say I'll take them both over Phillips, though.
I agree.
And then that's the other one, Calvin Phillips. I mean, Abby, the guy ain't even played.
I wouldn't have taken Calvin Phillips, but this is the thing. When I look at the team, you can see that there's obviously loyalties there from what have gone on in previous tournaments.
Yep.
Harry Maguire. Kyle Walker hasn't obviously played hardly at all this season. That's another one. And we were just saying before we knew the team, the likes of Dunk and Webster, are having fantastic seasons. They're not in the side.
Yeah.
And then when you have a look at some of those names kind of surrounding it, again, Sterling hasn't done too much. But again, he goes on obviously players that have shown up and turned up in a tournament for him.
I think you've got to bring Sterling because of, yes, a bit of the loyalty factor because he hasn't been brilliant this year.
Last tournament, yeah.
But I think there are some players that, all right, maybe they haven't done it for their club, but they can then turn up for England and they can light up the place. He's such an experienced player. He's been there, done it.
Yeah.
So I get him coming. The one I'm a bit again now, and
Maguire.
Harry Maguire.
I think it's.
I'm sorry, I would have left him. He's been shocking this season. Shocking.
I think when you've got
Maguire and Dyer.
Yeah. Let's not even get on
you
about
bring in the both of them.
But this answers the question, doesn't it? What we were just saying. Do you stick with people loyalty-wise because they haven't been great for their club, like you mentioned just now, Sterling, and you can put Maguire, Dyer in that situation, maybe not to the same extent, but they've turned up in a tournament, so maybe not Dyer, but maybe that's the way he does things. So I think Tomori should be in that squad. Absolutely.
I agree with you that Tomori should have been in there, and maybe one of them should have come. I think it should have been one of either Dyer or Maguire. Probably Maguire because in the past, but he's had, even when we talk about Sterling, he's had not a great season this year, But Maguire now, this has been a long time now. He had a poor season last year.
Is Mings in there?
No, he's not in there. He had a poor season last year, and he's had another poor season again this year.
Yeah, he has. And he's, for me, if you're trying to play, out from the back and you're trying to play a high line especially, I think he's a massive risk. And I think that players like him, for me, they make you play a certain way in terms of they restrict what you can do. Like I said, you can't play with a high line with Maguire. So that already puts England on the back foot, makes them more defensive, maybe sets up the team a certain way to protect his flaws. Instead of bringing players that are going to enhance the team, you're bringing players that are going to retract and take away from the team. So I think when you've got Tomori and you've got the Brighton defenders that we mentioned, who have played back 3, back 4, and they're playing, Brighton are having a great season. I think,
but he would never have done it.
He would never have done it. No.
They've never really.
They've never featured. Yeah,
they've barely ever featured.
Yeah. I think Eric Dyer's a strange one because he's not performed that well for England to the crazy level. Where
started the season well for Tottenham, but even in recent weeks,
I wouldn't have taken him.
And you're a Tottenham fan, so what does that tell us? Dave Jordan says Tomori and Tammy play in a B League. Tomori starts stripping every time he plays proper opposition. So overrated. Stones and White should start at centre back, he says. Ben White's in there. I'm very happy to see. I thought if Ben White was not in this squad, there's serious questions would have to be asked because I think he's been excellent. And I think what he brings to the squad is the fact that he can play, obviously, as a centre-back because he's played that at Arsenal all last season. But at right-back this season, he's been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
I can see him getting game time if they, obviously, I think Trippier will start at right-back. But if there are any issues with Trippier, you can play Ben White there. I think he's a good player to have in that back line because Kyle Walker again he's been out injured a lot, and Trent Alexander-Arnold's in there, but I just don't think the manager trusts him. I think if Reece James had been fit, I don't think he would have made it.
Trent has not been. From a passing perspective, recently he's been great, really good passes he's playing, but again, defensively, he's still quite a mess. So, especially if you're going to move to, I don't know, if he's going to play a back 4 or back 3, maybe if you play Trent at right wing back and relieve him of some defensive duties, you might get something out of him there. But I'm happy with White being there and Trippier because I do think Trent is kind of there on name and, on his passing and whatnot, which is great. But defensively, he definitely doesn't trust him. You can't trust him defensively right now.
Yeah. Luke Shaw?
I think that's just a case of there's no other left backs. There's no Chilwell. I was struggling to think of left backs as well. Maybe Saka. I don't want to see Saka there. So, so there's not really many options. I think England left backs wise, James Justin's obviously been out and he's not really ever come back into the frame again. There's not really many left backs out there. Yeah.
No Jared Bowen as well. This guy here, Anonymous, says Jared Bowen should have been in over Rashford. No, I don't think so.
Jared
I think
Bowen's been poor this
Jared
season.
Bowen's had a poor season, even if you speak to a lot of West Ham fans. And I'm not sure. He's a good player, but is he an international grade?
Rashford's done more for England than
Bowen.
So.
I think I'd rather have Rashford in there than
and Rashford could play more positions as well.
And Rashford's more experienced, you know.
Yeah.
Gallagher, Phillips and Henderson shouldn't be near the squad, says On the Run.
Henderson's
not really...
Henderson's in there by name as well.
There's a lot of players in this team, right, that I'm not really... If I go through the squad, right, I'm going to name the players, right, that they ain't really had a good season and they probably a bit fortunate, either by the fact that there's not really no one to push them hard, or the fact that there's been a bit of loyalty to them.
People are out injured.
Yeah. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think he's fortunate.
Yep.
Harry Maguire, fortunate. Luke Shaw, fortunate.
Yep.
Eric Dyer, very fortunate.
Eric Dyer, fortunate. Right. Calvin Phillips, fortunate. Henderson's fortunate. Mason. I was going to say Mason Mount is fortunate, but I don't know. He has done. I think even though he ain't had the greatest of seasons, I think
he's always going to go.
He turns up for England,
but I don't think he should be a starter the way he's playing at the moment. Not over Maddison.
It's only the attacking players I look at and I say, no, I agree with all. The attacking positions of Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, James Maddison, Marcus Rashford, Saka, Raheem Sterling and Callum Wilson, I agree with those.
Yeah.
That's the only section that I'm in and the goalkeeper section I'm in full agreement with. Pickford, Nick Pope and Aaron Ramsdale I'm in agreement with. The rest of it, there's a lot of very fortunate players there.
Yeah, but I think when you manage an England team and you're not seeing them every week, you have to go with past experience as well and blend it with form, because you can't just pick a new 25 every time based on form. You'll never get to know anybody. Chemistries will never build in the team.
And it's kind of keeping the core of that team. You know, I know that obviously we've discussed there are certain players in there who are not performing to the level they should have in the past, but you know, in tournaments, which is what Gareth Southgate can kind of really go off of, you know, the spine of the team has always showed up, and that does include the likes of Harry Maguire and Calvin Phillips.
Let me go through. There's loads of comments coming in. I'm loving the comments, and you know what, the comments shows how difficult it is
to pick a team.
Right? So let's go for something. Marcus Comfort says Cody very fortunate. Matthew Emerson says, how is Ward-Prowse not in over Phillips or Gallagher? I agree with him. I can see he's a Southampton fan by his avatar, but I agree with him. Nitro says, how did Gallagher get in there? Putch says, don't think Luke Shaw was fortunate. We Are Back says, Grealish and Mount should never be anywhere near this team. He says.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he says. I'm surprised at that.
If you watched Grealish last night, bloody man the match.
Anson25 says Don Robbie over Maguire. Lewis Brown says Henderson is a leader. Average gamer Billy takes exception with me. He says Henderson is the leader in the squad for years, Robbie. Robbie's showing his ball knowledge again. Right? It's my opinion, man. Yeah, I mean, I didn't say he shouldn't be in there, by the way.
He's just not playing great.
I said he's not been playing well. Even you're probably a Liverpool fan. I'm sure you'd agree. He's a bit fortunate to make it.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. I don't know what you guys feel.
Based on form, he's fortunate. Based on obviously previous contributions, he's not.
And
someone's saying Solly March.
John Paul Messier says Harry Maguire makes me motivated in life. If you play that shit and you're still in a team, it means I can do something with my life.
Fair point.
Jesus.
What was the one you were saying?
There was a shout here from Boris saying Solly March or Mitchell from Palace at left back, and I think
Mitchell, Tyreek Mitchell.
Just so you don't have to see Trippier at left back, because that's what's going to end up happening, right? He's going to end up moving Trippier. I don't want to see him do that. So for the sheer cover, I think March has been good for Brighton. Very underrated. He's mainly been actually playing on the right, but he is left-footed, so I can get where you could maybe move him over. But he's been very, very good, very impressive.
Also, there was a guy just a minute ago. I lost the comment now, but he was saying, what about Harvey Elliott? He said Harvey Elliott over Gallagher.
No.
He has been all right for
Gallagher for me.
No.
Harvey Elliott has been all right for Liverpool.
Do you know why I say no? Because for what Harvey Elliott does, there's many players in the team that give that at a way higher level. Foden, Maddison, Grealish, Saka. So you don't need Elliott. We're talking about squad balance now and team balance. If you're defending a 1-0 lead, you're bringing on Gallagher to close the game out, press the ball, win tackles, win duels, and do the dirty work. So that's the balance. You don't need an Elliott in there when you've got the other stars. He's not on Foden's level.
David Zimmer says Henderson is a leader in the dressing room. Maybe won't play, but at least he's there for the young ones. Alexander-Arnold against Iran can unlock games better than others. Then Walker, good for games. Listen, a top on form Alexander-Arnold starts for me, but it's the defending at the moment
or wing back.
Wing back.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really seen him play wing back too often because obviously Liverpool don't play with wing backs. But I'd rather see him there for a second than obviously see him in the back four. Someone's saying Dan Burn at Newcastle for left back as well. Burn's been
very good this season.
That's a shout. There's a lot of shouts for left back.
Very good.
There's actually, now that you guys mention it, some great shouts in here for left back.
What about this one? Ibrahim says Harvey Barnes. Better than Raheem Sterling. Harvey Barnes. I like Harvey Barnes.
I do like Barnes, yeah. But unfortunately, he's not been involved in the previous squads enough to really get amongst it and get involved. But he's a good shout, yeah.
He's a good player, man. So couldn't we have fitted? Could we not have squeezed him in there somewhere? I mean, I am happy with that forwards.
Yeah.
We got strength there. We got strength in them forward areas. But I like Harvey Barnes. Loads of people saying Tyreek Mitchell. France is saying Tyreek Mitchell as well. And a lot of people saying unhappy about Tomori being left out. Blade says Tomori got robbed, man. Is that the fact of you playing? He's playing over in Italy, out of sight, out of mind, sort of thing. Him and Tammy Abrahams as well.
It shouldn't be like that, though.
Shouldn't, but
it shouldn't be like that. You know the quality he possesses. I understand what some people are saying in the comments, and if you don't watch Serie A every week, maybe you don't see it. But I still think, as an England manager, you are watching every single English player that could be in your squad closely and intently, whether you're not doing it or your scouts are doing it. So I definitely think if you're basing it between him and Eric Dyer, for me, I mean, I don't know how Eric Dyer's maybe made it in, but then again, it's not based on form. If
England had a plethora of top centre backs, I could hear it, but they don't. That's as simple as it gets.
It's anyone's game.
It's literally outside of Stones, and who else is in there? Stones and maybe one other. You've got Ben White. You'd say Stones and Ben White. Outside of those two, I'm not trusting many centre-backs in Cody and Dyer and Maguire. So that's why Webster and Dunk were kind of mentioned. And I think Tomori's kind of in that bracket as well, where he's playing well. Maybe there's some frailties in his game when we saw him against Chelsea, etc. But there's a lot of frailties in Maguire's game, a lot more. So
and he's got no confidence at the moment.
Yeah. So
there's a good point here from Mr. A, who said Tomori playing abroad is not true because Jude plays in Germany.
Yeah,
that's exactly, one player. That's one. Jude
but if you're looking,
and you can't ignore Jude Bellingham because he's just been that good.
I still think that the argument that just out of mind, it doesn't wash, because if you're looking at any English player that plays maybe in a different league, you're keeping an eye on everything they do, not just Jude.
Yeah,
Bellingham.
but do you even last season? What's the name is having a great striker for Roma.
Tammy Abraham.
Tammy Abraham.
He was cool.
He's having a great season, but he was barely, they kind of look at, if he'd have been having that season in the Premier League, everybody would be, because what happens is when you're based here, everyone starts clamouring for you, like the Callum Wilson thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's clamouring for him, clamoring for him. Yeah, the media, the fans, everyone's clamoring.
Is Gareth Southgate swayed by what the fans want?
Yes.
And what you think he is?
We wanted Maguire, we got Maguire.
You think he's swayed by that?
I do. I think that's why Maddison's in the team.
Yeah,
because
I think that's why Maddison's
he's not picked him before.
Yeah.
And
got one cap.
Yeah, that's why I think he's in the team.
If there was no Maddison, it would.
But I think when you play abroad, or even you could also say that for when you're playing for one of the smaller teams.
Yeah, that you're not going to get
somebody
the
like a Tyreek Mitchell, maybe if he was playing for Man United,
he would definitely be
or Arsenal or Chelsea.
Yeah.
Tottenham, maybe he'd be in the team.
So then is that the case that this whole, way that we pick an England team or an England squad needs to be overhauled, because you're missing out on so many players that play for Brighton or play for Palace, for example, that are just getting completely overlooked because they don't play for, one of the top 6 teams.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you that Brighton play far better football than Tottenham do.
Yep.
Anonymous says, how is Danny Welbeck and Adam Webster not in the squad?
I can definitely tell you many reasons why Danny Welbeck's not in the squad.
By the way, Rory, if you're out there, you owe me money. He told me that Welbeck would make the squad. Get my money ready, Rory out there. Big up to Rory. I mean,
Danny Welbeck was
is
not
it?
make
Coleman Maloney says Tchaikovsky, who's been brilliant for Everton this season in defence. Had he have put in that performance for, say, Man United?
Yeah. But it'd be like, would you take Tarkowski or would you take Cody, or is it basically just kind of the same?
What about James Fang? This is a good one. Now, this is another player that's been brilliant over the last few seasons.
Yeah.
Completely overlooked. Smalling at Roma.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
He's been consistently good for Roma. No, but since he's been to Rome, he's been consistently good.
I've actually completely forgotten about him. I'm not gonna lie. That's insane.
That is outside.
That is Smalling.
Is Maguire better than him?
Listen, Maguire's not better than a lot of defenders out here. So, if we go through the list of defenders that are better than Maguire, then how much time you got? Do you know what I mean? Smalling's a player that I completely forgot about since Ferguson brought him in with Phil Jones. So that's definitely a wild one. Yeah.
Right. Let's. What I want to do. I want you guys just have a think about it for a sec, because I want you guys to give me your starting 11. All right. So I'll give you, whilst I'll do a couple more of these chats,
Yeah.
and then I'll get you a start 11. Anthony 1993 says Southgate should still pick Maguire over Ferdinand or Terry if they were in this. Sorry, he said Southgate would still pick Maguire over Ferdinand or Terry if they were in the same generation. Probably because Maguire can play up front as well.
What
I think when he came on the other
for?
day, he played up front. You could, whatever formation you want. I'm leaving it up to you. Tell me when you're ready, and then I'll come to you first.
I'm just going to go through it. Back four. I'm going
Right,
back four.
let's go with you first, all right?
In goal, Ramsdale, because I'm trying to play out from the back.
Right.
Back four, obviously, Luke Shaw has to play because I'm not having a right-footed defender. Trippier at right back because he's just more balanced than Trent and set pieces as well. Trent does set pieces. Centre back, I'm going to go Stones and Ben White on form. DM, Declan Rice. Midfield, Bellingham, Maddison in the 8s. And then front three, I will go with Harry Kane up front, Saka on the right. And on the left, based on the fact that he had player of the tournament, for me, in personally opinion, in terms of what I think he contributed to the team, I'm still going to bench him and put Grealish. So Sterling's going to have to miss out. But Grealish, because Grealish for me Grealish has been very good. And I feel like, Sterling was great for England. And that was literally just a decision that I just made instantly just there. But I feel like Grealish is a little bit more informed than Sterling. When you watch Grealish, I know he's not getting the GA. He is playing very well for Man City.
I'm still mulling it over. I'm agreeing with most of what you're saying at the back. Who did you go for on your midfield?
Bellingham, Maddison and Rice. Foden's unlucky to miss out, but...
Yeah, I think that would probably
Okay, I'll give you a bit more time, Abby.
Foden do you know what it is with Foden, right? I feel like Foden, because in Man City, he seems to he's working on automations. He's just in a great team. And I'm not saying he's not a great player, but I think for England, he's looking for things that are not there, runs and playing in those pockets and combinations. Whereas I'm picking players like Maddison and Grealish who have kind of just been used to playing a little bit off the cuff a little bit more and just take more responsibility from an individualistic standpoint. They don't need a system. They just play. And that's what I'm going with there. All
right. DJP says Marcus Edwards could have been playing. Could have been playing if he was in the Premier League. Great shout. The guy who plays for Sporting Lisbon, ex-Tottenham player, of course. I'll give you my England squad then. My England starting 11 whilst we wait on Abby. In goal, Aaron Ramsdale. Right. Jesus, man. The defence is shocking, man.
It's like clutching at straws.
Kyle Walker, if fit, at right back. Ben White and Stones. And left back, Trippier. Midfield, Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, and...
It's got to be Maddison, no?
Yeah, Maddison might in the number 10.
Yeah.
Right, and then the three up front, Harry Kane down the middle, Saka on one side, on the right-hand side, on the other side.
There's a lot of shouts in the chat for Foden. He's obviously played left flank a lot for City.
Foden was going in my one.
I'd go Sterling just off of his experience.
Okay. Yeah, Sterling.
Just based off of he's not had the he's not had a shockingly bad season or nothing, has he? Or has he? I don't know. You're a Chelsea fan.
I would say at the start of the season, when
he started the season well, didn't he?
When Tuchel was there, he was getting the goals and he was being a lot more of a talisman. Now recently, he has been pretty poor. So I would say it kind of evens out to below average.
I just feel his experience where he's played in a lot of these tournaments, he does know how to get a goal in these, you know what I mean? In the last tournament, I think he was our best forward player. So
he was.
Yeah, so Saka, Harry Kane, Sterling up front. And I like my midfield as well. That's decent. That's a strong midfield, actually, of Declan Rice, Bellingham and Maddison. It's the defence is the problem, man. Yeah. Goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale. It's good for me as an Arsenal fan, actually, to be actually see. I remember the last World Cup, right, when I went to it.
No one there.
No one there.
Right, there was no one, man. We had not one Arsenal player in there. I think it was Danny Welbeck looked like he was going to get into the squad, and he got injured. Yeah. Which is he's been very unlucky with all his career just before the tournament. So.
I think. Do you know what's
cheer on Harry Kane?
Yeah.
Do you know awful.
Do you know what's nice about the the left wing spot is that you got options.
Yeah.
You got Sterling, you got Grealish, you got Foden. You can
Yeah.
make a case for any of them.
Front line, when I actually look at the squad, front line,
Sorted.
midfield, goalkeepers even. But it's the defense. Weird, isn't it? Because that's normally our
I
strength.
know.
Yeah.
The defence is just...
That's normally our
I
strength.
think if he had brought Dan Burn with him and he'd brought one of the Brighton defenders in tomorrow, I'd be a lot more excited about that defence. Because there were good defenders that were left out. Dan Burn's been really good at Newcastle. That's a great shout in the chat. He should be there.
Yeah, I want goals. 15 says Pope better than Ramsdale. Listen, I'm going to be biased, but I disagree.
I rate Nick Pope.
Jack Mannion says, how is Chalobah not in there ahead of Maguire or Cody? How the hell is Cody in this squad? He isn't even near the level required. I have my doubts about Cody. But in a back three, he's he's very adept at playing in that back three.
Yeah.
I think as well he's a good talker, he's a good team player.
Yeah.
I think he's a player that if he comes into the team, he's going to give everything.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty.
He's going to give everything for the badge. So, but he wouldn't be starting for me.
No.
Right, Abby, we're giving you enough time now.
To be
Come
fair,
on.
it's pretty similar to what you two have gone for.
All right.
I'll go Pickford and goal, just to make a difference.
She's done that deliberately.
That was
no, I'm
deliberate.
not having that. You've done that deliberately.
Do you want to play good football?
All right, we'll go round.
Pickford to be
We'll go round.
to be fair,
I really like Nick Pope as well. I'm a
to be
big
fair
fan
to
of Nick
Pickford,
Pope.
he's not really let England down, has he?
No, he hasn't.
not-
he hasn't.
not
Let's be real, he hasn't.
No,
he hasn't. And Pickford also, I'm talking my guy out of a position here.
Yeah, you
but
are, yeah.
Pickford also, in all fairness to him, I think last season probably the best keeper in the league because the saves he pulled off, that saved Everton.
Yeah.
He saved Everton from relegation with some of the saves he made. He was brilliant.
I didn't watch him for the full season, but
Yeah,
towards the end,
but
for sure, he
the
was.
distribution, that's where I'm with you.
Yeah, distribution.
Ramsdale's distribution is way better than and definitely better than Pope.
I do think there's an argument
Yeah.
for... I think all three keepers are good. I do.
Yeah,
I
Nick
think
Pope's
that,
distribution, I don't.
I think Nick Pope's a good keeper.
He is.
If any of them three went in, I wouldn't have an issue.
Depends on the way we're playing. If we're not going to play out from the back, then I don't
So,
mind.
all right, we'll go Ramsdale. I would have gone Shaw and Trippier as well. The middle's just bad. I'll copy you guys. Go with John Stones and Ben White. Midfield, I would also have gone for Bellingham, Rice, and Maddison. And up front, I was going to go with Kane in middle, Saka, and Foden. But Sterling, again, arguably,
Got
I
a lot
would
of
have
options
mind.
up front. A lot of options up front,
Yeah.
which is really, really good. Right, let me ask. Now that we know what the squad is,
Yeah. You're going to ask that question, aren't you?
What are
I'm
you
going to
gonna
ask that question.
Yeah, the same question you asked about Arsenal a couple of weeks ago.
Can we win it? Can we win it? Can we win the World Cup?
Nope.
Why?
Southgate tax. It comes and it goes, but it's there. And do you know what? The Euros is easier to win than the World Cup. Let's not forget, because the Euros was in our home. It was in our backyard, literally just down the road in Wembley. There's no Brazil. There's no Argentina. No South American teams. There's no.
Got to the semi-final last World Cup. There was all of those teams were in it.
Yeah. But I watched that, and we penaltied our way through that, and we didn't really play anyone serious until Croatia, and then bang, out we went. So when we meet someone serious, that's where the levels will be shown for me. And also, the other reason is because I don't trust him to use all of these creative players that we've just mentioned. I don't trust him to use Grealish. I don't trust him to use Maddison. I think they're just there to keep everybody happy before the World Cup, get bums in seats or whatever at home, and everybody excited. And then we're going to see a back five. We're going to see 3 defensive midfielders, and that's it. We're going to see 2 up front. So it's going to be...
Is there an argument to say, right, that pragmatic style
will do well?
It's a tournament style, isn't it?
Yeah.
That can get you far in a tournament.
Yeah.
It's literally what Gareth Southgate has done in the last 2 tournaments. And he's got us further than anybody else since when we won it in 1966. So is there an argument to say that...
That works, Robbie, but when you get to the top teams, they will break you down at some point. And that lack of muscle memory to play it on the front foot, to opening teams up, to trying to score goals, it always comes back to bite. Because when you come up against France, when you come up against Brazil, they will find a way past Harry Maguire. They will find a way. And then when you're 1-0 down or you're 1-1 and you need to put you need to put the burners on and you need to actually showcase what you can do, then the England players are like, well, I don't know how to do that. We haven't done any of that this whole time. So we've just been sitting back. So that's where my question marks come from. A player quality standpoint, I think we have a shout to do it. You know, I wouldn't say we're favourites, but I'd probably put us in the top 5. But unfortunately, with the way he sets up, I just can't see it happening.
Can we?
I mean, I think you've hit the nail on the head, to be fair. It's one of those things where it's tournament football, so he's going to play a pragmatic approach. And he has proved a point that he can get us to a semi-final or a final, regardless of the competition, playing in that way. The handbrake did come off a little bit after that group stage, I felt, in the Euros. Because I remember sitting here and us being like, oh, this football is like so turgid, it's so boring, like free Grealish. But then again, you know, it got through the group. And then you can only beat what's in front of you at the end of the day. So whether or not you're playing Ukraine, like we were in the Euros, or you're playing Brazil, you have to just try and beat what's in front of you. Of course, quality is always going to be the outcome of who wins a game. And we look at that defence. I don't think there's enough quality in that particular area to maybe win it. But I think that anything... What is the expectation now? Is the expectation to build on what we've had? You know, the last few tournaments, semi-final and a final. Is the expectation that we should go and win? Or is the expectation now that we make it to the semi-final again? What is realistic for us?
I think he's got a potential golden generation for England standards, amongst him, and I think he should use his tournament. Yeah, but that's why you don't bring Harry Maguire. That's why for me you bring Tomori. You give him the tournament experience, and you say, do you know what? We're going to really go and try and win that Euros next time. You should have won the last Euros, but we're going to really go and win the next one. I think when England come up against Messi, or they come up against Neymar, or they come up against, Mbappe, they are going to lose the game. It's just, I have no doubt about it. It's a shame, but that defence with who he's picked and who he's going to pick, we can draw up our 11s, but we know Maguire's going in that team. We know Cody's going to feature more and Dyer's going to feature more than say Ben White, unfortunately, most likely. So when he picks these teams and he does what he's going to do, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree with you guys. I actually sort of 6 months ago I thought England could win it, but I've been very disappointed in some of the performances. And stuff like
recent
that
games
I've seen in recent times, and
yep.
Now I've had to change. But I actually think it's a good thing for England that the expectations are low.
Yeah.
Right, because we thrive off of that. When we go there and he's coming home and all that, that's when we flop, because the expectations are too high. So I'm glad the expectations are low, but
what if we don't make it out of the group?
Well, that's a disaster. The group. I'm sorry. I was having this discussion with somebody the other day. We got an easy group. They were trying to say to me, "Oh no, it's tricky." I got to listen. Wales, come on, we're supposed to smoke Wales. No disrespect to them. Right? Iran. Right? Big up Hass, but Iran, come on. Right? Hass will probably turn my camera off now, you know what I mean? But, sorry, Hass. Iran should not be beating England.
No.
And the USA should not be beating England either. That's an easy group.
Yeah.
We got to get out of that group. And I really expect England to get out of that group in style. I'll be disappointed if they don't. Right? So I think England's got to get to for Gareth Southgate, for me, to keep his job, and it's going to be difficult. I want to see a semi-final at least.
Yeah, I think that's a fair expectation.
A semi-final at least. If not, then we need to change it up.
With who we've got and who England have produced, and the excitement that you've got with your Fodens and your Sakas and your Grealishes and your Madisons, and even Rice is giving you balance. Bellingham, like Kane, that should be very. We should be really going to the end.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, the problem is that can we respond when it's not going good? Like we go a goal down. Have we got that?
Against the best teams.
Just, we can be pragmatic and we can get, but we got that extra gear to get past them better teams. I don't know. Who do you think's going to win it? Let me just, Abby, who do you think's going to win it? Who's your, give me your favourite and give me your second favourite.
I'd like to see Argentina. Purely for Messi, like just to complete football. I think that would be just an amazing
That's your
thing.
favourite to win it?
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to.
Brilliant.
It would be amazing to see,
Done a great run.
especially coming towards the end of his career. Kind of, I think to do that, if not the greatest player of all time, just especially in my generation growing up. So that would be maybe my choice. I don't really know who I think could win it other than
I think Brazil have a ridiculous team. I really do.
They have a great chance.
Bruno Ramirez.
I just don't always think you can write off France. I know that they're kind of in a bit of a transition stage, but you just can't write France off.
I was sort of thinking maybe of France, and then
then the
when
drama.
when we done a preview, and by the way, guys, you can check out we've got previews where we're looking at every single group. And we look at every single group in detail, going over every single team, how they got there, etc., to the World Cup. So we've got videos on that. Make sure you check them out. They're coming out throughout next week. We've already got the Group B one out. That's out there with England's group. Duncan Alexander from Opta, who joined me on that, he was brilliant. And he said that with France, the reason why he's not going for France is that no team has ever
Gone
back-to-back World Cups. I didn't actually know that.
Yeah.
I was going to, yes, they have. I go, what about Germany? He goes, no. No one's ever done it back-to-back. I thought Brazil had done it back-to-back. They haven't.
Just can't write
No Pogba and no Kante.
But they do have these Tukamani, and they've got an exciting young team, Camavinga and guys like that.
I think
Brazil,
a lot of drama there.
A lot of people are talking about Brazil, but they always seem to just got that. I think Argentina can win it.
Argentina
Brazil,
got a good
I
team.
don't know, something about Brazil, man, where they come into these tournaments. There's so much hype around
There's a lot of
them,
pressure
and they don't
on
live
them.
up to it. And
they got a great team.
Under the last couple of World Cups, where they've also had great teams, they've wilted under the pressure.
But I think this is the best Brazil team I've seen now for a while because, I mean, I would love
Fred
Messi
in the midfield.
No, you don't play Fred. You play Casemiro. You play Bruno Ramirez. You play. You've got Anthony. I don't know the actual squad, but they, just listed Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli, Neymar, Vinicius, Rodrigo. Sorry,
Rodrigo.
Their squad's fantastic.
It's a great team.
It is, but they always have a fantastic squad coming to these tournaments, and then they let you down. They let you down.
Argentina got a great team. I think it's heavily dependent on Lisandro Martinez at the back next to your guy Romeo. Is he going to be fit for it? He's fine.
He's not fit for the World Cup.
Romero's out of the World Cup.
He's out of the
So
World
who
Cup.
plays next
By
to
the way,
Martinez, centre back?
the amount of players that are dropping.
Yeah.
Because Sadio Mane's possibly going to be out of the World Cup. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it?
Too much football.
It's too much football before this tournament.
Son is going to the World Cup.
Okay, that's good. He's forcing himself to.
He's making himself fit. He's making himself ready.
Yeah. McAllister at Brighton is in that Argentina team. I hope he starts. He's a baller. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
McAllister is a Scottish name. He's playing for. He's Argentinian.
Good for him.
A lot of people in the chat are saying Brazil. Loads and loads of people for Brazil. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I mean, Brazil are the standout team.
They are, man.
Argentina,
France.
And then
anybody
else? Anyone else? Portugal, maybe.
Should be England and Portugal.
Full of stars. Portugal.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the
Cristiano
next,
Ronaldo.
The next bracket. I mean, it's going to be massive. Imagine if it's a Portugal-Argentina final.
Ronaldo shouldn't be going, by the way.
Of course he's going.
No, he shouldn't be though. Shouldn't be going.
Yeah, but you can. Could you not?
You can. I'm telling you, you can leave Ronaldo home. You can. He's not playing well, Robbie.
There's no way Portugal ever leave Ronaldo out.
What are you going to keep
until he retires?
Well,
he
should be left out. He should. He's not playing
I
well.
I wouldn't leave him out.
I would.
I wouldn't leave
him out.
I would leave him out.
Harry Maguire's going, but
Ronaldo.
I would leave him out just because I want to see how Portugal are without him.
No, but you know what? I think he's a big time player. He's got to be at a tournament. He over a short burst of a tournament, I reckon he could have a good tournament.
Do you think he starts?
It's Ronaldo, he starts. PK1 says Portugal's his dark horse. This one's an interesting one. Reds 2308. His dark horse.
Yeah.
My dark horse as well. Uruguay. Got some good players, Uruguay. Got some good players.
I can't wait to see who we get in sweepstakes.
Yeah, we are going to be doing that, by the way, guys.
Oh, yeah.
We got a sweepstake here. We did it when we did the Euros. Remember, we gave away that PS5, which Expressions ended up winning in the end, right? Because he drew out Italy. We got another sweepstake coming up, and this time the winner will win £1,000
cash.
£1,000 cash.
Cold hard
all right.
cash.
So I want Argentina. John says Argentina to win for me. Brazil, the defence isn't it. Well, they've got some good defenders, Brazil.
They've
got some good
They are strong in all areas. For me, Brazil are the favourites.
Suraj says Belgium.
They've always just...
always had that.
They've let me down too many times, Belgium.
They passed it. Like, they had their golden generation when Hazard was in his prime. Lukaku's been injured this season. De Bruyne's the only one really delivering.
Tongan, Alderweireld,
Yeah,
Grimes.
yeah, all those
Trossard.
defenders. Yeah,
They've got a good team.
Nah, not
Lukaku.
not to win it.
Reece Mail says Canada could cause some upsets in the tournament.
I've rattled a lot of Ronaldo stands.
Denmark, the dark horse, says Ron 1K.
Denmark are a good shout. Denmark.
YNWA731 says the Dutch look good. That's true. That's another team. There's a bit of a dark horse as well. The Dutch got a good team, really together. Yeah, watch out for the Netherlands, man. Portugal are my favourites to win it, says Akash. Germany, says Ben Antonio. No one's not really spoken about. That's another team that's got
Good squad.
Werner's out as well, isn't he?
I
It's
think
a
that
lot of
works
players,
in their
man.
advantage, to be honest, the way he's been playing.
Yeah.
Last time I saw him.
No,
he
but
was
he's been
finishing.
playing all right for
Germany.
He's been
Oh,
playing
for
all
RB
right for
Leipzig.
RB.
Yeah.
Morocco, says Dtrex. Germany, another shout there for Germany. Essie says Argentina. Listen, all will be revealed in about 5 weeks' time, right? We get to that final. Right? We are going to be out there at DR Sports. We're also going to be here doing a watch along to every single game. And as well, don't forget you can win $1 million. Yes, $1 million in the Opta 1 million. All you got to do is simply predict where each team will finish in the group stages, along with the winner of each knockout fixture and the overall winners. All you got to do to enter, subscribe to DR Sports, where you get the inside track on the Opta 1 million. Click the link right now if you're already subscribed to play Opta $1 million, man, for free.
Mad.
Let's get into it.
Right, listen, we've come to the end of it. Let me just remind everybody again what the team is. This is the England squad for the World Cup 2022, which starts at the end of next week. It's crazy, isn't it? Goalkeepers, Jordan Pickford, Nick Pope and Aaron Ramsdale. Defenders, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Connor Cody, Eric Dyer, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, John Stones, Kieran Trippier, Kyle Walker and Ben White. A midfield of Jude Bellingham, Conor Gallagher, Jordan Henderson, Mason Mount, Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice of West Ham. And the forwards selected are Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, James Maddison, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, Raheem Sterling and Callum Wilson. That is the England squad. Matisse, thank you very, very much. Abby, thank you very, very much. And thank you guys for joining us on this stream. And don't forget to subscribe here to DR Sports and click the link to enter that Opta 1 million. Thank you. $1 million. For the 2022 World Cup, Opta are offering fans around the world a chance to win $1 million. Simply predict where each team will finish in the group stages, along with the winner of each knockout fixture and overall winners to land the prize. Click the link below to play the Opta 1 million game. Subscribe to DR Sports for the inside track on how to win the 1 million.